Hello and welcome to Somewhere in Niagara. My name's Carl. I'll be your host for the duration of the video. This week I dragged my long-suffering wife out in time for sunrise and a well-earned dark roast coffee from Timmy's.
So my wheels keep turning, yes it's still, I came out swinging and I always will, still the lady but no one understands, my mama raised a rambling man.
You like my ear?
No comment. It's really good being able to share the photographs with your loved ones when you get home. But quite honestly, nothing beats being there and holding hands while you're watching the sun come up. I mean, call me an old romantic, but it's true. And we got some amazing winter sun. We saw a woodpecker, we saw a duck blind, we saw a mouse scampering underneath the snow. Unique memories keep you warm in your old age, which is nice. I've saved the best photograph of the day till last. We'll see that soon. Hi, quick word from our sponsor, Carl Green, design guy. As well as doing the photography on an evening and a weekend like this, I also do it for a living, commercial photography. So, I specialise in events, for weddings, conferences, destination locations. Please feel free to give me a call and ask for details. And if you need anything for your trade show, print, brochures, merchandise, whatever you need. I've got a wide experience in that field as well, so I'll be more than happy to pitch in if you have a need. If you don't, that's fine. I'm just going to get the microphone from my digital assistant Andy and then go back to the computer. Bye for now. So we're back in the studio where I'm having a bad hair month, so I'm going to skip showing my beautiful face and get right to it. And I thought this week I'd walk you through a full edit for the image I chose for this week from start to finish. This will be of interest to new photographers and anyone just getting into photo editing. Experienced photographers may either skip to the end to see the final image or watch and snigger at me while I work. It's important to remember that editing choices are always subjective and I've made the final image appealing to my taste. That said, I might change my mind tomorrow and do something different. It's always nice to have options. Anyway, all this is to say that the final image may not appeal to your taste, and that's fine. It's a big enough world to handle such differences of taste. Of course, I hope you like what I do. Let's get started. What we have here is the original image as taken by the camera, and I really liked the way that the setting sun was framed and highlighted between the buildings. This is a location which might be recognisable to some locals out in Wainfleet. It's an old barn off Feeder Road that's sadly been demolished shortly. But regardless of that, that's not the point here. The point here is this is unedited apart from I applied my basic preset, which basically just gives it a little bit of noise reduction. And that's pretty much it. And it also applies lens corrections for the lens which I chose here, which is Tamron, my 17-50, which is a beautiful f2.8 lens. None of that is of any interest to people that don't actually take photos. Anyway, this is how it started. I'm going to take 5 minutes of your time to walk through how it is, and then you can watch the finished item at the end, and hopefully you'll comment on it and let me know whether you like it or not. So, starting with a basic panel, you can go through these in any order, but normally you would start at the top and go to the bottom, but you can jump backwards and forwards at any time and make tweaks as you go, and that's often the best way. I mean, for example, I started with an auto on here, which looks good, but didn't really do exactly what I wanted. So I kind of brought this down a little, which looked good there. Contrast is fine. I thought that the highlights came down too far, so I brought them back to about here, and then maybe boost the shadows just a fraction more. And we're going to bring down the whites because that sun is a little bit too bright for my taste. And then what I really want to do is bring out the detail in the snow, which you can see here is kind of nice, but a little bit soft. So let me boost up the texture here, and we're going to add some clarity as well, which will also increase the tone curve, which we don't really want to mess with at this stage, but by adding the clarity it gives you too much texture in here. So I'm going to offset that with a little bit of dehaze, which brings that back, say about here. You can see the difference as you go. That's kind of nice. I kind of like the dark, meaner, moody look, which is what I'm going for today. And I think we're okay in the vibrance. Maybe just bring that down a little. Anyway, as I said, the tone curve, didn't touch that because there's very little point. I'm going to change that back. That gives me some extra contrast. And then we're going down into the HSL, which lets you control each individual color. So as a ridiculous example, just to show, I boost the yellow like that, it goes kind of crazy. He says, don't, there it goes, that takes the sun out. What I kind of liked to do here is I did boost that up a little on the orange, because it's not so much the yellow. If you boost that too much, you can see what happens. But here it's good, and maybe bring some of the blues out as well. I don't know. Yeah, that looks good. However, it's still a little dark here, so let's bring up the oranges. If you bring them down, you get a nice nasty that look there, but the yellows need to come up a little bit because it's kind of drowning out the sun. I like that. You will leave that as it is for now. The color grading, let's come back to that one. I'm going to leave the detail as it was by my default, actually a little bit more perhaps, because now I've added the texture into it. That has significantly excuse me, got burps, changes the background. So okay, let's go back to the color grading. I'm going around in circles here. This is a really great way of letting you change the background colors. Right now the colors of the shadows are kind of blue. You can change them very dramatically like that, as you can see. That's just the overall color, but if you actually move this here, you can change the colors themselves. And I found for this image, and it varies from one to the other, I really kind of like that. Maybe too much there. Oh, I don't know, let's try about there. But that's too saturated, so I'm going to bring that down quite a bit. There you go, about there, just to give some oranges into the shadows and give it an overall warm feel. The midtones, that's a little dark, so let's bring that up about there, maybe. I'm kind of okay with the color, so then we'll just go into the highlights. What do I want to do with the highlights? Well, I want to bring out the yellows from the sun here, so we are going to change the hue up to about 50, 60. That looks good. No, too far. And this will vary depending on your monitor and what you're watching it on. So it'll look completely different to me as it does to you. That's a color problem, which is something which everybody that works in photography or any kind of design has to deal with on a daily basis. But that's a whole separate discussion. I could give you an hour's lesson on that, but I'm not going to do that. However, the whole point here is the yeah, okay, sorry, I was just looking at that and deciding whether or not I wanted to make a change, and I don't, because I feel that that is the finished image. This week's image, as well as the others that you've seen in the video, are online for anybody wanting to see them in the full high resolution glory. Link is in the description. As always, the images are available for purchase for a range of products and can be on your wall at home for as little as $20. Let me know in the comments if you like this presentation format or you want to know more about photo editing. I do train people on this very subject when not making videos, and I'm a lot less self-conscious when I'm not talking to an empty room. So please feel free to get in touch if you want to know more. I am more than happy to discuss, and in the meantime I'm going to say thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Please comment on what you do and don't like. I'm still refining the format, so feedback is appreciated. So having said that, thanks for watching. Do the things. My name has been Carl Green and I have been your host for the duration of the video. Join me next week when I will be somewhere else in Niagara.